Well, good morning, everyone. I think many of you know I'm Kim Scalzo. It's great to see everyone back for day 2 of the summit. And I'm really glad to be here to moderate this panel, which is my last speaking role at this conference, so then I can sit and enjoy with the rest of you. And I'm really glad to be able to highlight 2 SUNY-wide groups who are exploring and making recommendations about artificial intelligence for SUNY. As we know, this is a topic on everybody's mind, and we're being very intentional about what role AI can play in the work that we all do. So the first group that you're going to hear from is the Artificial Intelligence Task Group under the Faculty Advisory Council on Teaching and Technology, or FACT2 as we call it. That group was launched last May and is looking at the implications of AI for teaching and learning. And we have the co-chairs of that task force here today to share the work that they've been doing. The second group is a STRIVE task force on artificial intelligence. And yesterday I shared that STRIVE is Strategic Research Investment. We have 3 task forces and artificial intelligence is one of those. And we have representatives from 3 of the 5 working groups under that task force here today. So given all the discussions around AI, we wanted to provide these 2 updates and wanted you to be aware of what's coming so that you can be on the lookout for the work that is coming from them. So let me go ahead and introduce them, and then we'll move quickly into their updates. And I know that they're all here, but they're not all on screen yet. So I'm going to go in actually no particular order. The first person I want to introduce is Billi Franchini, who is online. She is the director of the Center for the Advancement of Teaching and Learning and Online Education at the University of Albany, and she is co-chair of the FACT2 task group. Jeffrey Riman, who is here with me in the room, is an assistant professor as well as coordinator and instructional designer at the Center for Excellence in Teaching at the Fashion Institute of Technology, and he's the other co-chair of the FACT2 task group. From the STRIVE task force, we have Atri Rudra, who you see on the screen. He is the Katherine Johnson Chair in Artificial Intelligence and professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at the University of Buffalo. And then finally, we have Jason DeCruz, who you also see on screen now. He is an associate professor and director of undergraduate studies in the philosophy department at the University at Albany. So I'm done with that. So with that, we're going to jump into the updates. Oh, I should have had that up when I was introducing them. But we're going to jump right into the FACT2 task group report, and I'm going to turn over to Jeffrey and Billi. And Billi, if you're here, can you, if your camera's on, we need to put Billi on the screen as well.
I do not have a working camera. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
But trust me, I look great.
Awesome. Jeffrey, over to you, and Billi.
Okay, so Billi's going to give the overview, and then we're going to go into some of the details. And Billi and I have been working together since last May. Phenomenal partnership, and deeply grateful for her and for all the members of our task group. So Billi, you want to give the overview, and then we could interrupt each other like we usually do.
Absolutely. That sounds great. Yeah, so I want to just echo what Jeffrey said. This has been an amazing group to work with. To look back and see what we have accomplished in such a short period of time is really stunning, actually. The group, as Jeffrey said, was formed in May of 2023, and we're kind of running toward the finish line of our work in its current iteration in May 2024. The group was launched with 2 high-level goals. First of all, to really start to kind of make sense of what are the opportunities and challenges that are presented by AI tools as they have become much, much more available, as new tools are emerging and as the technology is advancing at a very rapid pace. As part of that investigation and as a result of that investigation into these new tools, we're really thinking about how can we support faculty in best practices for using AI in teaching and for helping them help their students use AI for their learning. The group is composed of 50-ish members. There's been a little bit of floating membership over time because it is a long-term commitment. representing about 11 of our SUNY campuses. We have representatives from SUNY Online. We have representatives from SUNY Administration. And we also have representatives from 5 campuses outside of SUNY, which is really interesting because that's given us an opportunity to get a broader view of how higher education is thinking about and working with AI. Our work has been conducted in subcommittees. So in the fall, we had 3 subcommittees. In the spring, we have 4 subcommittees working together. And we've done that because those subcommittees can really focus in on specific areas. It's kind of hard to wrangle 50 people at one time, but with smaller groups with a specific focus, we've really been able to get a lot done. If we could just go to the next slide. Our first milestone, our first major accomplishment was the publication of our guide to optimizing AI in higher education. And that was published in the fall of 23. And that was the work of those initial 3 subcommittees that focused on specific areas for developing that guide. That was a really rapid process. We got a lot of work done in a very short amount of time on that guide. So that kind of ended our first phase of work. And I'm going to hand it off to Jeffrey to talk about what's coming next and what we're currently working on.
Thanks, Billy. Next slide, please. So we're currently working on the second edition of the guide, which should be published in a few months. It says April, and we're really thinking we're on target, but the editing process takes quite a while, especially to validate and verify all sources and the honest truth about the content. There's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there to sort through. Currently, we're also offering one of our subcommittees is on faculty development. And if you have these slides, which I think are shared with everybody, right? There's a link there to register. But if you go on the CPD site, you'll see that we have 5 fantastic events that have been put together by extremely diverse group of subject matter experts, teaching faculty, as well as technologists. And each of those is offered at 2 different times. They'll be recorded and they'll be up on the CPD site as recordings at some point. It's a good moment to say that CPD is our partner in so much that we do, not only in helping us to do some of these things like this faculty development event, but also the intellectual equity of having created so many important events and programs over the years only makes us stronger. Now, get out your funding because we're going to have an all-day symposium on May 21st at CIT. That is going to be a pre-conference workshop. The money that's being charged is for breakfast and lunch. Nobody else is compensated other than with hugs and thank yous. But it's worth it because this is an opportunity to work with your colleagues after the semester is over and to have a great opportunity to share. We're going to be announcing the program shortly. We've had a flood of interest for people who want to present, who come from within and outside SUNY. The final area I wanted to bring up is a website resource. Now, the FACT2 Council has a group that works on sustaining websites, but we're also looking at partnering with librarians across SUNY to build LibGuides that would be sustained with library oversight, but would also allow external editors. Our feeling is that LibGuides can be embedded in anybody's website, at any campus or facility. And who can you trust more than librarians than to make sure that the content is appropriate? We're also talking about LibGuides at the faculty level and also at the student level. So if you're teaching, you can actually embed through Brightspace as an external tool into one of your Brightspace pages. So that's what we're up to. I think that's the last slide for us. Yes, and we move on to Strive.
And Billy, we're back to you.
Great, thank you. So in addition to co-chairing the task group, I also have the honor of serving on the education work group in the Strive task force on artificial intelligence. And I'm going to provide just a very high level overview of the work that that group has been doing. If we could go to the next slide. So the work of our group has been divided into two phases. Phase one was really work that was conducted primarily during the fall semester. And that work really had two big areas in its scope. First of all, we were working on thinking about how to advance and accelerate programs for AI education, for AI literacy, and for AI awareness across SUNY campuses and stakeholder communities. So we were really kind of thinking about what does it look like to grow AI education in ethically and socially responsible ways. The second part of our scope was looking at current policies and practices across campuses, really thinking about what is happening now in AI education across SUNY so that we can think about where we want to be in the future. And we really focused on developing recommendations for how we could leverage emerging AI tools, how we could build on work that is already being done so that we could enhance and improve teaching and learning outcomes. Again, with a real focus on ethics, trust, integrity. We could go to the next slide, please. So that work culminated with a report that was delivered in November 2023. And we used three big areas to inform the recommendations that were developed in that report. First of all, a series of questionnaires was distributed to members of our working group and also to other thought leaders on campuses that really kind of focused on these two big areas that were described in our scope. What is happening now in AI education? Where do we think we should be going in AI education? And how can we build on work that's already being done? This also included an analysis of the strengths and gaps in AI course offerings that are currently available in SUNY. So we spent some time analyzing what institutions are already doing, what are the courses that are being offered, what are the programs being offered, where do we see lots of development that has already happened, and where do we see gaps or opportunities for further development in AI education across SUNY. And then finally, our work group conducted some review of key reports about AI education, both from at the SUNY level, but also at the national level, looking at higher education more broadly. So that was really kind of the conclusion of our phase one work. And in the spring semester, currently, we have launched our work in phase two. And the goal of that phase two work is much longer term. We're developing a 3 to 5 year plan that is focused on selecting and implementing our recommendations from that phase one report, with a real focus on developing a SUNY-wide strategy for AI education. And a huge point of focus and where we've really started our work is thinking about how we can make sure that we have a system-wide strategy that also connects to campus strategic plans. So we're really thinking big picture here, but we're also really working to ensure that the work campuses are already doing is part of that work, so that it's not, so that we're integrating these new ideas rather than trying to add things that don't work with specific campus plans. Our progress so far toward that goal, and we're in the relatively early stages at this point. We've just had a couple of convenings. We started an initial analysis of new developments. So a lot has happened since November. And we're really kind of looking at what is the landscape now to determine, do we need to adjust any of those recommendations? We're also starting to think about what are the strategies, what are the opportunities, what's already available to us to create connections across campuses to ensure this broader impact we were talking about. How can we really leverage existing systems so that we can make sure that we're working across the system and aren't duplicating efforts on campuses? And then finally, we've started to analyze the challenges that are inherent in implementing our initial recommendations. Our group had 9 initial recommendations, and they were pretty ambitious. So now we're really kind of starting to look at those and say, okay, what are the challenges with implementing these? And how can we prepare to address and meet those challenges so that we can successfully implement the recommendations we have so far? And that is what I have for the education work group.
Thank you, Billy. Okay, and now I'm going to actually skip ahead. Give me a second to the workforce and industry. And Jeffrey's going to talk about that, and then we'll come back to the social impact group.
To those of you wondering, there's many more people involved than Billy and I. It just so happens that we're representing our respective groups, but our groups are quite large, and we have workforce. Each work group rather has 2 leaders that we work with very closely. And you're going to meet 2 of our new friends and colleagues, Atri and Jason, right after I'm done talking. So the Workforce and Industry Working Group, when I was first appointed to this, I said, wait a minute, I want to do pedagogy. And, but what I realized very, very quickly was the workforce is what we're actually doing. SUNY is an engine for the workforce, whether it be research or industry or manufacturing or technology. It doesn't make a difference. The hundreds of thousands of students coming out of there really need to be prepared. We can go to the next slide. So our goal is to consider AI as a cross-cutting tool, an enabler to make sure SUNY has a clear strategy for how it needs to change its approach to education of the workforce and the funding to execute on that strategy. I just want to add something to what Billy said. All of us on Strive have been asked to coordinate with the leadership of our respective campuses to review strategic planning to make sure it's incorporating AI in ways that are both productive, safe, and trustworthy. And actually, SUNY AI, which is one of the first initiatives, is a huge leap in planning for that direction. So we became aware very quickly that while we're interacting with the workforce, we also need to have that interaction within SUNY, which is why Strive is so powerful. We had a meeting of the entire group on Monday for 2 hours. It was like a sprint. I literally had to take Gatorade at the end just to get my electrolytes back up. But the passion and the energy, next slide, is amazing. So our phase 1 outcomes, where we held a roundtable event with 2 weeks' notice, and we had over 50 different businesses represented from small and large. And I want to emphasize, we're not just looking at the huge mega companies. We have so much development going on in the state of New York in terms of small businesses, startups that hopefully will continue to thrive and to grow. So we're working with all of them. Representation was very broad on short notice, and it really fed a lot of what we plan to do. Among the recommendations at that time was to look at SUNY-wide centers for excellence in AI, where workforce partners join with SUNY leadership. And by leadership is anybody who's a leader in a particular area. We're not just talking about presidents, CAOs. As a matter of fact, we're really talking about faculty, technology people, and all the different domains of excellence represented in the SUNY network. So we're looking for ways to have that happen. We are fully aware that SUNY does have structures in place for working with the workforce. What we're trying to do is find ways to work with what SUNY has, but to look at how we can expand the mission. Next slide, I think. Yes. So where we are now is, even though we're focused on workforce, we did make a recommendation for interdisciplinary faculty hiring over 64 campuses. And part of that is because we're in a co-learning world in AI. Almost everybody is starting from a certain point. I was speaking to Veronica, who presented yesterday, and she marks that as 2016. But I think the bomb really hit about 3 semesters ago, as far as higher ed is concerned. So hiring is important to get that external subject matter expertise in, as well as training. We also made recommendations for software and computing infrastructure. Research and education in AI require substantial computing, data, and software resources, which will be the most cost-effective way, we believe. So if you look at it this way, how many of you every day go on Bard, Perplexity, Claude, or Gemini, hopefully not Gemini for imagery right now? And what you see is these products support the entire world. SUNY AI is actually a cornerstone of supporting education in a safe environment where intellectual property is protected, which is not the case when you're going on even beyond paywalls on the larger products. So this Empire AI initiative was phenomenal. We were all thrilled to see the governor's commitment, as well as the chancellor and our new provost, Ram. Really, the enthusiasm is just unbelievable. And so I'm going to stop being enthusiastic now while we go to the next group. Thank you.
You actually have one more.
Oh my goodness. Yes, phase 2. I'm sorry, I get excited about this stuff. Our progress is initial analysis of new developments to adjust our recommendations. Each work group submitted recommendations, and those coalesced into what the bigger plan was. Then our initial consideration of strategies for creating connections across campuses. We're looking to ensure broad impact. And the initial analysis of challenges inherent in implementing these recommendations and preparation to address challenges. I'll just add, we have another roundtable event that we're currently planning that we're hoping to have even broader reach on. And I think that is it for now.
Great, thank you, Jeffrey. And I am going to back up to social impact, and so that we can hear from Jason and Atri. I'm going to try not to go too far.
And all 4 of us will be answering questions at the end. We sort of have a joint slide.
Yep, exactly. Okay, Jason and Atri, over to you.
Great. Thank you, Kim. Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Jason DeCruz. Together with my co-lead, Atri Rudra, we are leading the Social Impact, Ethics, and Trustworthiness Working Group. The working group focuses on the massive social transformation that artificial intelligence is going to bring, and the ethical and social considerations of that. We try to bring together people working in technical fields and non-technical fields. A lot of our ambition is to sort of catalyze joint projects between people who are building AI systems and people who have the ethical and social frameworks for thinking about the impact of those systems, in particular people in the social sciences and in the humanities. If you could move up the next slide, Atri will describe the members of our working group.
Thanks, Jason. Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. So my name is Atri Rudra. Here are our wonderful group members. As both Billi and Jeffrey have alluded to, like, these working group meetings have been great. There's a lot of energy. It's kind of always come out of these meetings feeling energized. And then I guess I get the let down was like, oh, I have to do my other stuff now. But the thing that main thing I wanted to highlight on this slide is kind of the breadth of disciplines that are represented. So as background, I'm in computer science and engineering. Jason is in philosophy, and we're working group members from public administration and policy, social work, comparative literature, theater and dance, industrial and systems engineering, specifically human factors engineering, philosophy, political science, and computer science and engineering. I guess this is being recorded, so I'll probably get into trouble for saying this, but we as computer scientists are very shitty about building systems for society. We just assume we know everything, go ahead and build it, and then just end up doing harm, and not even staying neutral, as it were. So when Jason and I were kind of starting to think about like who to invite, one thing that we very, very quickly converged to is we really needed folks outside of computing, right? As Jason mentioned, folks from social sciences, humanities, arts as well, basically people who have thought about society for much longer than computer scientists have. Like when I did my undergrad, there was, or even my PhD, like there were no courses in society, right? So you just learn about kind of like the core computing things. And so it's been a nice conversation. Like I always have to kind of get corrected all the time for, like, for example, I think we are moving towards renaming our working group maybe again from social impacts to society and AI, because social impacts tends to indicate that AI will, like, it's one-way street, like AI impacts society, whereas what we really want to do is to have society build AI as well. So with that, I'll pass it on to Jason for the next slide.
Right. So I'm just going to describe some of the goals of our working group. Also, apologize in advance that at 10:15 I'm going to have to go off and teach a class, but I'll be there until then. So our goals, first, the goal was to figure out what's going on at the SUNY system when it comes to existing work on the social impact of AI. So one of the challenges that we are this sort of dispersed system, and we often don't know what's happening on other campuses. We don't know whether there's duplication. We don't know whether there are opportunities for collaboration. And so the first thing that we did is we created this kind of extensive codex of all the projects on the SUNY campus, on the SUNY campuses that are focused on the social impact of AI or ethical questions in AI. And then we created this analysis of the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats in this area compared to our peer institutions. And what we really want to do as a working group is to catalyze, incentivize collaborations and interdisciplinary research that's led by humanities, social sciences, and arts. So the AI initiative has got to be a very broad tent for it to be effective. And really what we want to do is to have projects that are really led by people in the humanities and the social sciences and the fine arts. We want to facilitate the exchange of ideas and the translation of insights across disciplines. Often we speak very different disciplinary languages. And so there needs to be investment in seed money to get people in the humanities and sciences, social sciences paired up and communicating well with people in technical disciplines. And then we also want to leverage large-scale funding opportunities at the federal and state level, and in particular, funding opportunities that target humanities, social sciences, and art-centric projects. So there are a number of challenges that both the working groups face. So this is kind of a slide that represents both of us. And we have all of this expertise in the virtual room today. Many of you know a lot more about teaching online and organizing online than we do. And so we're not just hoping to answer your questions, we're actually posing questions to you and hoping to get feedback from you. So one is the challenge that comes up a lot is that SUNY is a scattered object. And we want to create some kind of unified structure around our efforts to understand the social impact of AI, also around education. It's the same kind of challenge. And how do we create this unified structure given our scatteredness across campuses. Second question we have is, how do we facilitate and reward collaboration across campuses that are geographically spread apart? There was a AI symposium at Albany a couple months ago, and I met all these people from other campuses who were doing fantastic work, but it's really hard to know how we can actually get going on joint projects when we are so dispersed from each other. So we want to know, and we want to know how to sort of reward those collaborations when they happen, and give them oxygen and give them visibility. And we want to know how to manage the ethical and academic integrity challenges associated with instant access to AI resources. So for those of you working in the online space, the online teaching space, this is probably a question that is really front of mind. And then similarly, people working in the online teaching space, how do we achieve equitable access to AI resources? Increasingly, lots of these resources are tiered, and access to them is dependent upon being able to pay for them and be able to subscribe to them. And what should SUNY be doing about achieving that kind of equitable access? So those are the challenges and the questions that we're posing ourselves and posing to you as well.
Thank you, Jason, Atri, Jeffrey, and Billy for the updates. Atri, did you want to say something? Did I cut you off?
No.
Okay. So, and I also want to just thank you for turning the tables a little bit, because we do a lot of talking in these sessions, but when we were preparing for this panel, I think, the idea of how do we tap into the, expertise and experience of this community was a really good idea. So would like to, let me just first ask, Tony, are there questions in the chat that I haven't seen that we need to respond to?
No, I think we got to everything, Kim.
Okay, thank you very much. And I don't know if there are any burning questions in the room. Let me just ask that quickly for our panel. So, okay, so I'm not seeing any hands going up. So I'd love to just open the floor for anybody who wants to comment on any of the 4 questions that the panel put together for the room. And I will call on people.
Cold call. All right.
Yes. Can you talk into the mic?
This thing. Sorry.
And tell us who you are and what campus you're from, or what, if you're not from a campus, where else you're from.
I'm Elise Cook. I'm from Binghamton University. I'm a instructional designer.
Great.
I was just wondering what your symposium is going to consist of.
You're talking about the one in May, the
Right
FACT2
before-
symposium?
right before
Yep.
CFT.
So
Yeah.
Billy or Jeffrey, do you want to talk about that?
Sure. The symposium has 2 tracks. It's going to be an entry level and an intermediate level. There's going to be, we're not sure exactly how many sessions, but it's going to be about 5 sessions. And they are very much rooted in use and application of AI. So it's not going to be a lecture. It's going to be come in and be prepared to experience, problems in the classroom, problems teaching online, how to use AI as an assistant at an assistant level, how also to use it for assessment. And these are not meant to be, we know and we're telling you. It's meant to be more, we're going to pose the problem and we're going to be looking for interaction from the people who participate. So we're really hoping for a great show on that. Thank you for your question.
And I'm just wondering if John Kane or Stephanie Pritchard are online. I don't see them, but I just want to see they're organizing the event and could also comment.
Yeah, Kim, let me just say, if there's anybody from the subcommittee leadership who's on line,
Yeah,
please present yourself in the chat so we can call on you.
yeah, that's great. Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention about the symposium is, again, the FACT2 Council, the task group is doing a series of webinars for faculty, but the idea of the symposium is to be more active and engaging. And we're also potentially looking at bringing in some of the platforms and tools where we have existing contracts with vendors to be able to play with them and see like what's happening with AI in those tools so that we have an understanding of what to be prepared for. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of a sense. As Jeffrey said, the agenda will be coming out soon. Yeah. I know that there was a question in the chat. Tony, do you want to chime in with that or a comment?
Yeah. This one comes from Camille Carlson. Do we have a sense of student use and adaptation of AI and how this can inform teaching and learning?
Many of you are having that issue right now. Like Jennifer from FIT. How's it going? Don't turn on your mic. I'm putting you on the spot with a little cold call. Jennifer is a colleague. She also is teaching online. She's extremely progressive in applying new technologies and methods. How's it going with your students?
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Well, I teach different mathematics courses and statistics, it's not going so great with AI. But for mathematical ideas and geometry and the art of design, just how the courses are and how I teach them, it's fine. You can't use AI and you can use AI in the courses, but not really. For statistics, I really have been focusing more on the spreadsheets because can't really use AI for spreadsheets either, but it's quite a problem otherwise.
Anybody else? Wow. Anybody online? We'd love to hear about your experiences and
Jeffrey, can I?
Here we go.
I actually want to ask you a question. This is a little awkward since you're right in front of me. And but I was wondering, our math faculty are very concerned about all of our students using AI for nefarious purposes. Are you seeing that in your classes as well? And how are you rising to the challenge of that?
Well, one of our math colleagues is really, this is between all of us.
Our closest 300 friends.
Jeffrey knows probably who I'm talking about. Trying just a new way and asked his students, what would you rather have, a midterm or like lots of little quizzes that are shorter and he's, sees them take it to just prevent, it's overwhelming. We also are trying to use AI for good and show students how useful it can be in different ways. And we have an online textbook that we made for statistics, and we hopefully will at some point like have a chat box for it that students can interact with the book and ask more questions in that way. So we are thinking of ways to highlight the good part of it for our students, using it in responsible ways.
Thank you.
We have another hand right over here.
Oh, go ahead, Maureen.
So Maureen Larson, Orange County Community College. Last week, I watched a webinar from, I think it was Cengage. I don't know if any of you watched it, which was the student panel on how they were using AI. So it was very interesting. A couple of college students explaining, one of them talked about how she used some AI thing when she was in high school for math to cheat her way through the whole course. And the teacher never knew it, but she said now she's in college that she doesn't find it useful because she's really trying to understand. But she uses AI as sort of a prompt for her writing. So she'll do her writing and then ask it, is this in the language of or the tone of, am I getting this point across? And she says it's very helpful that way. Another student said that they felt, students are not using it to cheat as much as faculty think, that they're trying to use it in ways to help them. But they do know some of their fellow students are using it to cheat. So they're concerned that faculty's only impression was that students are using it to cheat. But it was very interesting. It was 3 different students and the way that they are using AI and faculty exposure to it, and that the faculty that were using it to teach the students how to use it in a productive way they felt they were getting much more out of it and that it's still kind of new, so that we're all learning to do this. So they felt the teachers who were teaching them to use it were preparing them better.
Yeah,
So,
that's good.
and that's a recording, so it's on Cengage's website. If you guys want to watch, it was good.
Thank you. Chrissy?
Hi, Chrissy Mitchell from Dutchess Community College. One of the things that we're kind of struggling with at Dutchess is that some of our students are coming in from high school where the high schools are encouraging the use of things like Grammarly, not for like straight up writing papers and things like that, but for taking what has been written and trying to help improve it, that type of stuff. And then they come to Dutchess and some of our faculty are freaking out about everything that has to do with AI and coming up. And you may have seen the story in the paper about the student who says that they just use Grammarly to improve their writing. They did do the writing, but they used it to improve it. It came up on an AI detector, which we know they don't work, and she got failed. So those are the types of things that we're worrying about, that these students are used to using these tools to help them. And then as they come into different institutions, that there are differing views of what is help. Because even our writing center is like, okay, if the student used Grammarly as they said they did to help them improve their writing, what is the difference between them using Grammarly or coming to the writing center? And I mean, there is a difference, obviously, but if you break it down to that, that's the question that we're dealing with right now. So
Thanks, Chrissy. Rick?
I mean, I'm a big Grammarly user myself. Rick Shelton, SUNY Poly. I know that I write often in Rick speak. And what I want to know is, why do professors think that Grammarly would be bad when Microsoft Word will do the same thing? So why is Grammarly good or bad, but Microsoft Word is good? Or are they both bad?
Can I respond to that?
Yes, please.
English professor, Alfred State College, Travis Madison. Am I on here?
Yes.
Is that me? Am I glowing? So one of the things that we're finding is that students are using these sort of now legacy virtual helpers like Grammarly to assist with their writing, but they now have generative AI built into them. So I've had students, they're not cheating by going to ChatGPT, generating a prompt and copying and pasting that. They're going to places like Grammarly or Chegg or Course Hero that they used to go to cheat in mundane ways. Grammarly was just spell check. But now it has generative AI built in. And so if you put your paper in, you hit generate and it'll revise your paper for you. And it really is generating new text. And it's not supposed to do. Or that's typically considered an academic integrity violation. So it's not just spell check anymore. But the students don't know that they're using generative AI because they're just using the tools they've used before. So that's what we're running into.
I just want to come back to our panel, because I think this is, really good insight. And just wondering if you want to make any comments on that or anything you want to follow up on.
Yeah, so the conversation is really good, and I'm glad to be getting all this feedback from people working on the ground. One thing that Billy and I have talked a little bit about is about, there's one conversation about academic integrity and policing violations of academic integrity. But then there's also a really important conversation that we sometimes miss about just the connection between writing and thinking. And I think this is a connection that, in a conversation that students are very hungry to actually talk about and explore in the classroom. So in particular, I mean, I've been thinking about the fact that when I get a pile of papers, the most common thing to see is that the idea has really been crystallized by the very last paragraph of the paper. And a lot of the process of writing the paper is getting to that last paragraph. And often what you need to do is go back to the students and say, you really figured out what you thought by the end. You need to go back, rewrite the entire paper, and put that idea at the end that you came to at the end, at the very beginning, and then reorganize your project around establishing the thesis that you came to in the process of writing. And so it's the process of writing that actually makes possible this kind of discursive thinking. And that when you get your first draft from a generative AI tool, the process is completely changed. You become much more like an editor, even if you end up changing the thing a lot. So I think like just opening up this discussion about how AI is and how AI writing tools are changing the way that we think and becoming sort of more self-conscious and critical about the way in which AI tools are changing the way we think, and then thinking about using them in different ways once we become more self-conscious and critical about it, is a really important thing that we need to be doing in our classrooms, aside from the very important conversation about academic integrity and policing academic integrity violations.
Thank you, Jason. I think we had a couple more questions in the room. Yeah, go in the back. Yep.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
My name is Alexa Pianta, and I am an instructional designer at FLCC. My main thing that I'm worrying about is a lot of professors are always, like we talked about, seeing the bad side of AI, and what I'm struggling to get across sometimes is like, how do we reinforce like the good side of it when the reality is like professors are so concerned about plagiarism, about students using it on subjects like math, and then as for English, like they're worried about plagiarizing entire essays. How do we get that across to faculty members who really don't understand that there can be some good in artificial intelligence?
Hi, I just wanted to jump in here. I agree with you. A lot of times we sound more like a police training school, to capture students doing this. I have a couple of thoughts about this, because AI does have value in its current state. Is for those of you who are teaching synchronously, use it in the classroom or use it in your synchronous event and actually see what students do. In my teaching practice, I have students use AI in the classroom. They have to record every prompt, every output, and then summarize and reflect on it. And that is the assignment, actually. And one thing I think that we all know, and I'm sure people online as well as faced in front of us, is students are not great about asking great questions. And we really see that when we see the prompts that they generate, just like when you're teaching a student how to do an interview and they ask questions that are easily found by just doing a little bit of research, like how long have you been doing this, for example? So using it in the classroom. One other comment that Jason alluded to is have students handwrite. And I'm not being facetious here. My students are not allowed to use computers to take notes. They must write them. But I give them readings that they don't have to summarize, because why bother? Because they're going to summarize it with AI. But I give them assignments where they will actually hand in their notes so I can see what they're doing. There's also an awful lot of neuroscience to the fact that when you write by hand, you can think about what you're thinking and feeling, but that's not the case with keystrokes. There was a question over here.
Before we do that, there are a lot of comments and questions in the chat from the virtual audience. So I want to make sure we hear from some of those. Before we do that, I also, Tony's going to share them with us, but I just want to say we did do a survey last fall of faculty and how they were using AI in the classroom. And that's one of the things for the task group to go through and to share. So that will be coming as well. But Tony, what questions or comments from the chat do you want to share?
Yeah, there's a lot of discussion right now. I don't know that there's any specific questions, but I'll just read a couple of the comments because I think they're germane to the discussion.
Great.
They all are, but I'm going to pick out a couple of them. One came from Douglas, who had to step out. He said, on point 3, I think we need a general SUNY policy, but one that facilitates allowing each faculty member to allow AI use in their classroom. This will require providing faculty with resources to help faculty determine appropriate uses. And then there's just, various dialogue that brought up some very good points. but I think that was one that we might want.
Great, thank you. I think that's good input for the task force and for the task group. And Jason, Atri, and Billi, I know you're in the Zoom session, so you can see the chat probably directly, and feel free to comment and respond to other things there. So, and so Tony, no questions or anything else from the virtual audience?
No, I'm not seeing anything new. No questions.
Okay, all right. We did have another hand on this side. Yes, Brandy? Simone, oh.
Simone Reynolds, SUNY Downstate. So there are a couple comments that were made, and I think there are a lot of faculty who have that hesitation when it comes to ChatGPT and maybe writing. I set it up in my course. We haven't gotten to the point where students have started submitting any work yet. But PatBack has Writing Lab, which is supposed to be somewhat, they say instructional AI because it's not so much generative, but it's giving the student feedback. They can chat, they can ask for more clarification on the feedback that it's giving. And I think that piece is probably the piece that would work better for a lot of our classes, because it's, instead of generating something completely new, it's highlighting where they need to, work on, and they can ask it like, can you clarify or ask for more instructions? But I think that's really, really helpful. And then for math students, I'm not sure what level of math, but I'm working with a couple of doctoral students in the epidemiology. I'm also faculty in the Department of Epidemiology and Biostatistics. And I have 2 students who are working on their dissertation. And so between classes or working population means that they're taking quite a while to get through their doctorate. And so you may have the time between learning SAS in a course and then time to getting the dissertation done. They've forgotten a lot of the basics. And so, working full time and then getting their dissertation done at 11:59 in the night is not a time to reach out to your professor and get a immediate response. And so I started, introducing ChatGPT to them and saying, run your code through it. You're putting it in the SAS and you don't understand why SAS is giving you all these errors. Drop it in the ChatGPT and ask it. And so I've now moved to the point where I'm getting data back from them, or their results or their summaries, much faster because they have a SAS tutor through ChatGPT. So it's not that they're trying to get the answers from ChatGPT, but they're using it to sort of help them and annotate either code we've shared with them to say, here's sample code that they can't make heads or tails of. They're able to say, annotate this for me and give me, explain to me what this is doing. And so that has been really helpful for our students at that level.
That's a fantastic example. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, great. Deb, yep.
I know we've been talking about student uses and students have been using AI, and my fear is preparing the campus, taking a few steps back. And while faculty may be on their own using examples, I liken this to how many of us have this experience where this is the first look at online learning and students are cheating in online classes. And so let's take a few steps back and try so that our campuses are not behind. We need to better prepare everybody for what AI is about, and not just be talking about the cheating side of it, but the proactive side and how we have to embrace it and go forward. And here's where we're going in the next evolution of education. And so the way we're looking at it on campus is just taking small steps to introduce faculty, because many feel like they're behind already. What is AI? I haven't looked at it, haven't explored it. So if we can take baby steps and start informing, educating, and then show how AI can work for faculty, and then the examples given today of how you actually use it in the classroom. I think we've all been through this already.
Right.
Right? So we have a plan. Let's now apply it to AI.
Thank you, Deb. I do want to, I'm just looking at the challenges in the question that the panel put up at the beginning. And I just want to see, we only have a few minutes left. If anybody from the community, if we want to offer any suggestion or guidance on how to facilitate and reward collaboration across campuses that are geographically spread apart. We do this all the time, right? Yeah.
Hi, Kim, Jeff, Finger Lakes Community College. And this is going to go back to what I said yesterday. We have Brightspace. We have a DLE.
I didn't even pay him to say this.
I'm not getting paid to say this. Listen, it's a little, I'll say frustrated at this point because of this collective energy that we have that is so inert. I love Teams. It's a great chat tool. It is not a great collaborative tool. And we have expertise in a platform that we're building together. There's no reason why this conversation can't continue in a platform we're all using. I know I'm just giving Steve more work, and I'm sorry, Steve. I appreciate you deeply. I can't wait to play video games later. But we cannot waste this energy. It's too much right now.
That's great. Thank you. Yeah. Maureen.
So I think this also speaks to the last challenge there, achieving equitable access. So my concern is community college, right? Our students, first generation, non-English speaking, we are going to be leaving them in the dust if we don't get it together and start giving them the training that they need to use AI in their careers as they go forward. Because obviously schools with better resources are going to have better students, but this is really going to be a big deficit for our students if we don't sort of.
I have a totally different question. I'm curious to know how many of you, just raise your hands, campuses have initiatives where you're introducing some kind of AI education module, micro-credential course, whatever, across the curriculum. Excellent, excellent. That's great, great. All right, I want to give the panel the last word. Jason, Atri, Billi, Jeffrey, any final comments? And Jason, I know you have to run, so maybe you want to go first.
Sure. I just want to express appreciation for all the candid and reflective comments that we've gotten. They're very stimulating, and I think the conversation has been really enriching. So, yeah, thank you.
Great. Atri?
Yeah, just echo what Jason said. I'll just make one quick comment. There was a question about AI tools to detect whether something was developed by AI or not. My only quick comment would be use it, but as with anything technical tools, that's just one thing, like don't use it as kind of like the final word. So it's a good screening tool. These are maybe decent screening tools, but after you screen it, then you have to kind of use your own judgment because you know the material best because you created it. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Atri. Billi?
Yes, I would echo what Jason and Atri said. This has been a really great, really informative conversation. And, you know, I think that a really important way for us to think about where we are right now with AI and where we're going is that it gives us a really great opportunity to reflect on our teaching, our relationship with our students, our goals for our students, and what we really think we're doing. You know, I think that there are definitely challenges, which we've all have really come up in this conversation. But I think there are a lot of opportunities presented by these tools, not just for using the tools themselves, but for really asking ourselves some important fundamental questions about what we are aiming for in educating our students.
Thank you, Billi. Jeffrey?
Thank you. So just like 2 points, I think I've learned through the task group and through this Drive task force, the incredible energy and shared interest in doing things, and at a level that supersedes individual campuses, even in recognizing the greater need extends beyond what we do on our campus, right? Like we never thought about how do people in industry use VoiceThread? Okay, although they might, I don't really think so. But here we have something that's like an operating system that we need to treat it like it's a co-learning opportunity, not only from colleague to colleague, but with your students. Don't make believe you're an expert. Share the experience of learning and assessing. And when you do that, the students sense the value far more than when we just treat it like it's an adversary.
Thank you, Jeffrey. And so I'm just going to wrap up by saying, I know we did not get to hear everybody's comments or questions. I hope you will continue those throughout the day with each other. And the other thing I wanted to mention is these two groups are working so fast and furious. You know, what you heard today is, you know, just the beginning. They both the FACT2 task group and the Strive task forces will be producing more formal reports and recommendations at the end of the semester. We are also working to get the information that's available now up on a website. The FACT2 website, the Strive task forces are working on a website. So there'll be a place to go to see things as well. And Jeff, I promise you, we're going to talk about what we can do in the DLE.
Got your word on that, Kim.
You got it on recording. Thank you. And yeah, reach out to us in the meantime. Thank you all very much.